EPA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for March 31st, 2025, the final day of the month. And Kinsley's Family Market in Broadheadsville, Monroe County, Pennsylvania sponsors the Monday video forecast. Hop into spring and celebrate Easter at Kinsley's ShopRite. From fresh produce, flowers, candy, cards, and your favorite seasonal treats, they have everything you need to make this holiday special. On Palm Sunday, April 13th from 9 to 2, bring the kids and have breakfast with the Easter Bunny. And don't forget, spend $400 from now through April 19th and qualify for a free ham or turkey for your holiday dinner. Stop on by Kinsley ShopRite and they'll keep you hopping. Proud sponsors of the Monday video forecast. So today we have a cold front moving toward the region. We have another one of those synoptically driven warm days. Temperatures well into the 70s today, as yesterday we had that backdoor front. I'll tell you what, some areas there was a big contrast again where that front was very stubborn to move northeast, and it only got so far and it just kind of stopped, right? It did move through further overnight, so we everywhere will be getting to 70 or above, as you see above me. 70 to 76 is the temperature spread today everywhere. But that thing cut right through the middle of our coverage area yesterday, and you had some places on one side of the front that were in the low to mid 70s, and then the further northeast you go, you're in the 40s, right? So in between, you're kind of like in the 50s or maybe even low 60s late in the day as you got a little bit of a burst as that moved through. But today we have unabated warmth, but it is going to be mostly cloudy today. And this is a big factor in our severe weather potential today, which we'll get into in a second. So we got a warm southwesterly flow out ahead of this. And with that, if you remember the other day when it was really warm and had some places getting to 80 or above, not going to get quite that warm today, but we have a similar situation where we have breezy conditions that are going to push that in. So it doesn't just go warm up like nothing without the wind helping it a little bit. It's going to be most notable this morning, though. Okay, so you get some gusts to about 30, maybe some 30 to 35 gusts like we had a couple days ago, right? And then in the afternoon, it's more like 15 to 25. Okay, so it's just mainly the morning that it's going to be the worst as far as the wind is concerned today. So I wanted to touch on that before I got into the next part, which is the Storm Prediction Center. This is what they have for the outlook, and they have a slight risk over the vast majority of a region. I will tell you that I do not agree with this. I think a marginal would have sufficed, and it's only for a certain area, not this broad. This is way too much, in my opinion, and I just don't see this happening the way they see it. So we have a difference of opinion. This is not uncommon for us to disagree with the SPC, and I'll show you why, okay? First of all, we'll look at the NAM here first. Now, the areas I'm going to say have the best chance today to see severe, and it will be isolated, so it's a marginal threat, would be kind of right in here. These areas, right in there. I'm just circling. It's going to be further south too, but within our coverage area, that's the areas that I think have the best chance today. Not this big sprawling slight risk they got all the way through here. So just in that circled area, I think is the best chance to see that. And we move this forward here on the 3-kilometer NAM. We have some initiation by the time we get to mid-afternoon. Some storm activity, but this is radar reflectivity. This is not necessarily indicating severe weather, but the soundings down here from when you get from like Allentown and point southwest are starting to look like you have just barely enough instability to work with. And again, we have mostly cloudy skies today, so you don't have a lot of destabilization, and that's the problem today. All the other parameters look pretty decent. Not over the top great, but I mean they're decent enough, especially the shear. So you could have some gusty winds with any of these storms that come through here. That's going to be your primary threat with any of the storms today. Looking at some gusty winds, but more likely 30 to 40 in those winds. You might even see a severe thunderstorm warning that they put up, and it's the storm only has 40-mile-per-hour winds. They've been doing that here the last couple of years, where if it's close enough, they'll put up a warning for it. Their definition of severe is 58 miles per hour or greater. I just don't see that today. That would be an extremely isolated situation, but probably within that circle that I drew. So we're getting here to 7 p.m. And this is important because this line is all the way back here, right? You see, here's Philadelphia. Home opener in Philadelphia is here. Starts at 3 o'clock today. I don't see them having any issues at all. I mean, there might be a stray spit or something move through ahead of this line. That's not impossible. The NAM is not showing that, but there is the opportunity for something like that to happen. But this is going to be, by 7 o'clock, this game's going to be long over. Okay, so you shouldn't have any issues there for opening day, and no reason for them that we can see that you would have to, push this to the the backup day, which is Tuesday. I have built an off day in the beginning of the season for that reason. But this comes through later in the evening. Once it gets to I-95, and you see these storms look like they're pretty nice here from, Lehigh Valley and Point Southwest down to Lancaster and Pottstown and places like that, and in northern Maryland, down to Baltimore area. Once it hits the Philadelphia region, though, they collapse. They collapse, and the reason for that is it's coming in too late. This is 10 o'clock at night. Again, this is not the end of May. It is the end of March. Shows a big difference with sustainability of severe storms in the Northeast past sunset. It just doesn't happen. You get a temperature inversion and things like that working against sustainment of severe weather after dark. Now, in the summertime, it'll be a different story. These can go long through the night. Not the case here. Okay, so these are just going to collapse and turn into stratiform rain, maybe some embedded lightning as it gets further southeast of I-95, and this moves off the coast just past midnight, and that's it. So that's just the NAM. You say, well, that might be wrong. Maybe it doesn't have the right idea. Well, the high-resolution rapid refresh at 6 p.m. shows about the same thing. Just these pop-up isolated stuff here, not an organized mess here, but again, the sounding here on the HRR is even less enthused than the NAM is. So again, here's this is a little faster than this is 7 p.m. So again, Philadelphia right here, up until 7, there's nothing there. This is a faster model than the NAM is. It's bringing it a little quicker. So even if this ends up being correct with the earlier timing, game's still over. So we're fine there too. So I'm not worried about that so much today. And then this will, again, once it gets to 995, they stay sustained to that point, and then they just collapse, and you can see that here. It just turns into rain and then moves off the coast just after midnight. So they both have the same general idea. They're about a little bit off on timing as far, like maybe an hour or two different, but the same general idea. I don't see a big severe weather today. Again, if I'm putting a marginal risk up today, not a slight risk, a marginal risk, it'd be probably for these areas right in here. So those are the areas I would be targeting. And that's just my opinion. You can take that for what it's worth, or you could just ignore me and say the guy's an idiot. Well, that's fine too. But we'll see what happens in tomorrow's video when I get to recap this, right? That's what I think is going to end up happening. And this cold front's going to move through, and once it does, we get to Tuesday, we're much cooler again. We're doing this nonsense this week again. The up and down temperatures all week. So Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be cooler days. We have a mostly sunny and breezy day here on Tuesday. Breezy meaning 15 to 25, nothing crazy. But then Wednesday, we have partly to mostly cloudy skies as a warm front approaches. You might have a few showers in the northern half of our region in the evening or overnight as this warm front pushes through. And then in the wake of this on Thursday, guess what? We're warm sectored again, and we have another day in the 70s. And that's going to be both Thursday and Friday that we're going to be in the 70s. So warm sectored there on Thursday. And then we have some late day showers, the front for just at least the northern half of our area here. A little question about how far this front gets here. And then it doesn't move in and move through until Friday afternoon, which means you stay warm here on Friday too, with some morning showers and then maybe just remaining mostly cloudy after that point. Now, this weekend doesn't look too great as of right now. Okay, we have some more frontal boundaries in the vicinity. This is another warm front. It's a little bit further south this time, so this gets us on Saturday with showers, and then tries to lift off to the north here, but in between you have a quickly following cold front and the showers ahead of that will come through here on Sunday. So both days look like you're going to have rain. A little bit cooler this weekend again. So again, doing the up and down stuff, right? So this weekend, not as cool as Tuesday and Wednesday, but we're looking at temperatures maybe in the mid to upper 50s for highs, which is pretty close to normal for this time of year. It's not like that's cold per se. It's just not, for this time of year, that's where it kind of should be for some, at least our southern areas. And then after that moves through, we'll be back to cooler again as we start the following week, which is next Monday. We'll get in that, cross that bridge when we get there. But it does look like we have some beneficial rainfall, if nothing else, coming through over the next week or so. So we should be able to cut into some of those deficits a little bit. Probably not erase it, of course, but we can cut into it. We can certainly use it going into the growing season. So rain is welcome. This is not very good timing if you had any weekend plans this weekend. But we have to, take what we can get at this point because we are behind in rainfall. And we're going to follow the severe weather threat today. Again, this is the Storm Prediction Center has for today. So not saying that they're wrong necessarily. I just don't agree with the expansion of this or how far they have it. But, I mean, that's just my opinion versus theirs. Take it for what it's worth. This is the official, though, from them. So definitely If you're in any of those yellow areas, make sure you're paying attention to the radar today if you're outdoors, and stay weather aware. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marterstad as your outlook for March 31st, 2025. Have a great Monday.